The Yuma growing area is perhaps best known as the nation's winter salad bowl, producing 90% of the leafy greens for North America during the winter months. What may be less known is the incredible amount of production that takes place year-round, thanks to Yuma's uniquely abundant sunshine and mild winter climate. Growers here produce over 120 different types of crops that all contribute to soil health, reducing water use, and perhaps most importantly, feeding the world. As the Yuma growing area transitions out of leafy greens production, many of the fields have already been turned over for the production of durum wheat, a crop that significantly contributes to some of the best pastas in the world.
In Yuma County, we produce about 35,000 acres of desert durum. The 35,000 acres will produce a little over 105,000 tons of wheat that is then ground into semolina to manufacture pasta. During the harvest, all of that grain comes into one of our facilities, and then throughout the year we will ship either truckloads or rail cars for domestic use or to the export market. The production coming off of those acres will be manufactured into 150 million individual boxes of pasta, 1 pound at a time.
The climate and productive soil in the Yuma growing area allow growers to produce an extremely high yield of durum wheat. On average, U.S. consumers buy about 20 pounds of pasta per person each year, meaning Yuma is supplying the annual needs of about 7.5 million people.
A large portion of what's grown here is exported to Italy, and one of our primary customers is a company called DiCecco. Now, DiCecco manufactures pasta and exports it around the world. They ship it to 112 different countries. So the wheat being grown in Yuma County actually has a global impact.
On top of contributing to the world's supply of pasta, this valuable crop contributes nearly $40 million to Yuma's agricultural economy. A summer favorite, Yuma area growers plant melons in the springtime that are harvested during the early summer months.
At Desert Premium Farms, we grow about 400 to 500 acres of melons per season. We have a wide window in the springtime of about 2 months that we're producing, and a narrow window of about 1 month in the fall that we're producing melons. There are several growers producing several thousand acres in every calendar year here in Yuma, feeding about 400 million people their melon needs for at least about 3 months out of the year. Melons are an important minor crop for Yuma. It's a high input crop, high labor intensity crop, all hand harvested just like the lettuces. But economic impact wise, I think it's fairly close to fresh vegetables. A little bit lower on the input cost side of things, but certainly high labor. Melons are not as big of a water consuming crop. They can actually go long periods of time without irrigation. It's a labor intensive crop, but it's a labor of love. Amazing to eat right here in the field, and I know they are for consumers, so it's just a joy to be able to produce something that's a healthy part of people's diets. Can't beat a good melon.
Crop rotation is an important tactic farmers use to maximize water efficiency and improve soil health.
Our main business is vegetables, and so we use hay and sudan as a rotation. We can make a profit on it. Sometimes we don't make a profit, but we need to keep our soils alive and active. Hay that you see behind us, this field had fusarium in it, which is a soil disease. So we're rotating it out, which really cleans up that disease. Sudan's a great rotation, particularly if you got a weedy field. It kills a lot of the viable weed seeds, so the field's not as weedy the following year. We have hay that goes to dairies, all the way from Phoenix, all the way over to Chino. It's a very economically important crop for both growers, but for other industries.
Another rotation crop, cotton, is important for establishing good soil that saves water when the fields transition into winter vegetables. Cotton grown here is known for being a high-grade clothing fiber.
Well, Yuma is kind of settled into somewhere between 9,000 to 13,000 acres, which will produce somewhere around 30 to 40,000 bales a year. When I was in high school, our goal was to be done picking cotton by Christmas. We've shortened that season, and now I want to be done by no later than the end of September to be able to move on with our produce. We use way less water really now than we did back when I was younger. We actually have not reduced our yields by reducing that time frame with the quality of seed and varieties that we have today. Cotton's an important to Yuma for rotation. It's been very good to us. We have no plans in the future to quit growing cotton.
Not only do rotational crops improve soil health, but they also provide an economic boost to farmers that is translated into savings for leafy greens consumers. Without these crops offsetting operating costs like land and equipment, consumers would see a noticeable increase in the price of winter vegetables. With the rotations finished and soil in good condition, the fields are ready for Yuma's primary crop, winter vegetables. But throughout the fall, the harvest continues with Yuma growers supplying the demand for onion seeds, delicious medjool dates, and some of the best citrus in the world.
We've been farming out here on the mesa since the late 1940s. We've been sun-kissed growers for much of that time. Commercially, we grow mostly lemons here. Everything else, like tangerines, tangelos, which we call exotics, I sell here locally to try to give the people of Yuma some better produce than what you find in the store. The spring, we're blooming. The summer, we're taking care of the crop, keeping it clean, sizing it up, and in the fall, we start to harvest. Your sun-kissed box in November, there's a 90% chance it's from Yuma. We are in Japan, Korea, Hong Kong. They know that we grow the best fruit in the world, so they will pay the top dollar for that fruit, and we're happy to provide it to them. We are putting in new systems and using new techniques to reduce our draw on the Colorado. We're trying all different things to try to get the same kind of crop with less water. On top of being part of our community the last 75 years, having your product around the world, seeing that people over in Japan, for instance, know your brand and specifically want to buy your brand over any other lemon that's grown in the entire world, that's pretty cool to me.
Between Thanksgiving and Easter, Yuma produces about 170 million servings of vegetables each day. That comes out to about 1 billion pounds of lettuce per month. Always looking for new opportunities, a few growers have taken on an expanding market: fresh herbs.
This is a crop of cilantro. We harvest fresh market cilantro, which is bunch, which is what we're doing behind us. And then we also machine harvest cilantro for processing for food service. We also grow regular parsley and Italian parsley. Parsley, we grow about 80 acres a year combined between the regular and the Italian. That's because it's a multiple harvest crop. We'll harvest that crop 2 to 3 times for the season. And for cilantro, we grow about 600 acres a year. We use quite a bit less water growing this because it's all use sprinkler irrigation, overhead irrigation throughout the entire crop. So we can grow a crop successfully with 1.5 acre feet of water. Probably 15 years ago when we started this, we seemed to be the only ones doing it, and now there seems to be about 3 or 4 other guys doing it as well. I mean, it smells out here like a taco stand. It's beautiful. A lot of these crops will go and turn and plant a second crop behind them. Following the cilantro or the parsleys, the ground breaks up real nice, and it's very advantageous for us to work the ground for our next crop. It's really great to go to Chipotle and order extra cilantro knowing that I grew that cilantro.
Every year, agriculture contributes over $3.5 billion to Yuma's economy. It's an interconnected ecosystem where every crop, every piece of equipment, and every drop of water is used with purpose. And nowhere else is each drop of water used with such efficiency. This small corner of Arizona produces food, fiber, and other resources that the world needs all year long.